Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here. Hope everyone's well. I've just been for a walk, got some milk. I was going to go for a longer walk, but then I thought I don't want the milk so bad, so I came back home anyway. Sorry for the trivial info. Hope everyone's well out there. I know I talked before in some of my previous videos about Egypt, how I hope for Egypt to facilitate, if you like, events and summits, events and conferences, whatever you want to call them, to bring together Asia and Africa. So I thought I'd talk about some of those projects I hope to do. I was thinking of leaving it for another week or so, but I decided to just go for it. And considering it was Africa Day yesterday, and I mainly wish to focus on projects to do with Asia as well. So given those two things, combining them two together, I thought I'd talk about some of my dreams to unite Asia and Africa. As I have been talking about, I think in my last video I talked about something to do with, quite a few things to do with those. And so anyway, all the projects I do want to do for Asia, I wish to do for Africa, except for one extra which I would add for Africa, which is technology. Anyway, so I'm going to try and get on with the video with the list, and hopefully people out there will enjoy it. I was going to say, this is another one of my infamous list videos, if you like, so I hope someone out there will enjoy my thoughts and my plans and find it interesting. I definitely, I couldn't learning to speak properly. I need elocution lessons. I definitely hope that people in Egypt will find the idea interesting, especially, and Africa and Asia, and that Egypt will be able to host these events. Anywho, here goes. Number one, I hope for Africa and hope for Egypt, to host events, summits, conferences, general events, or whatever, to bring together both Africa and Asia generally, so they can network and discuss ideas, learn from each other, and so forth, learn about each other, support, bring as many entrepreneurs, business people, entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call them, YouTubers, and whatever other people, banks, and that sort of thing from Africa and Asia together to talk about their projects, especially young entrepreneurs, and to learn from each other and to be able to network, share their business cards, share information about their businesses, work on trade deals together, look into how they can expand their products to different markets and things like that, and generally share ideas and learn from each other. Number two, I hope for Asia and Africa to learn from each other as well, generally learn about each other as well. So people from Africa to learn things about Asia and vice versa, facts, and discuss their goals and dreams together, and how they can help people from Africa to learn about, and Asia as well, to learn about how to invest, to have land ownership, and to invest in buildings, land, or whatever else, and look at what's going to grow in the future and how they can reach their full potential, and all sorts of things like that, and support STEM for Africa, and also similar things for Asia. Take away the technology, possibly take away the technological thing, but have the other sorts of things like science, engineering, English, languages, communication, how to trade around the world, entrepreneurship, and maths, and so on and so forth, for both, and technology also, as I say, added on for Africa, and what their relationship would be with each other and the rest of the world, and to encourage friends of Africa and Asia, friends of Asia, and things like that. So people from the diaspora and people of colour support them as well, and again supporting education, entrepreneurship, and so on and so forth. Number three, I hope for both nations to talk about what freedom means to them, and have projects to do with sports together, and all sorts of other projects. I know a lot of time on certain days I like to focus on certain things, so without going into too much detail right now, like on Mondays I like to focus on the maths stuff, or things that begin with M, like movies, or again businesses, money, banks, and so forth. On Tuesday, banking and business. Wednesday, writing, art, becoming authors, published authors, writing for fun, mainly becoming published authors, poetry, and so on and so forth. On Thursday, and also looking into women's rights perhaps, and things like that, and education for girls. On Thursday it could be politics and how they can network together on shared goals, and over the different days I'll hopefully come to those things. So tomorrow I'm hoping to focus on writing and so forth. Number four, again, hope they'll discuss their aspirations, how to help their citizens to reach their aspirations and have peace between each other, and Asian and African nations, working together towards peace and prosperity and tackling poverty and things like that. Number 5, I hope for different organisations to be there in Egypt to talk about how to tackle poverty and help people reach their aspirations, not just African and Asian nations themselves, but perhaps banks from around the world, and looking how they can invest in Asian and African entrepreneurs, people from the diaspora, as I say, Black and Asian people and people of colour generally, even Native Americans perhaps, talking about what they can do to empower each other and empower Asia and Africa, raise the profile of existing entrepreneurs and also help other people become entrepreneurs, and again how banks can invest in Asian and African entrepreneurs and that sort of thing. Number 6, I hope this will benefit Egypt as well, but also benefit the rest of Asia and Africa. But obviously hosting such events hopefully will increase tourism. They can also talk about facts about Egypt and information about Egypt and Egyptian banks and businesses and tourism and so forth, as well as each other's tourism. And so I hope that Egypt's symbolic geographical location being between Africa and Asia will help them to network together and things like that. Number 7, I hope that God will bless Asia and Africa as well together and help. I hope they'll do what they can, do the best they can, and things will go in their favour as well. Number 8, I hope for Asia and Africa to talk about what they like about each other. And I was thinking about this political saying. I was wondering whether to include it in my last video or not. I think it was all the one before that. But anyway, like a friend, an enemy of my enemy is my friend. In other words, like I think because of white supremacist, neo-nationalism, far right, whatever you want to call them, and imperialism and former colonization, and the West, if you like, or Europe and America, possibly Australia to an extent, trying to control these countries, will hopefully bring them together and they work together politically. I hope I don't offend anyone. I hope that makes sense, but obviously a bit of a controversial statement perhaps, but I think it's mainly like, when I say enemy, I mean like the white supremacists or people like that, like to work together against white supremacy, which has oppressed people, both African and Asian people. And like, if you think about terms that both African and Asian people have been called, it's mainly been called by people who have those sorts of prejudices. Again, I'd love to hear your opinions. I often say this, I say again, but for any new viewers, hopefully there'll be some new viewers and subscribers, I often say this, but I'd love to hear your comments on each point, for and against, and negative and positive, and what you think are the worst bits or the best bits of what I talk about, and that sort of thing. 9, I hope that they'll work together on priorities and help each other to organise and plan and teach young people across both Asia and Africa how to set up business plans and help people from slums and orphanages and support each other's projects generally, and even companies like Tata, Reliance Industries and companies like that, and how to help them and help each other's tourism industries, and like look at poetry and art and writing as a business, and how to help them develop their economies in that way. Number 10, finally, I hope to support the youth and look at YouTubers and how they can contribute to the economy and be empowered, and support each other's YouTubers, like Asian and African YouTubers and people of colour generally, supporting each other and supporting Asian and African YouTubers especially, and how organisations like Black empowerment groups around the world, including in America and the UK, and any organisation that work with ethnic minorities or people of colour, POC, can look at how they can support Africa and Asia. And possibly also Egypt could host anti-imperial or anti-supremacy events, anti-imperialism, anti-colonialism, anti-empire, anti-supremacy events. And also like young people could learn about each other's nations from Africa and Asia, and again general education, like they could learn about different nations around the world and facts and figures. And again, hope the banks will invest in young Asian and African entrepreneurs. So I definitely hope to encourage those sorts of things. Please let me know your opinions and any ideas you have. And I think I did quite well to keep this video about 10 minutes long, so hope it's not too long for you, and hope you enjoyed it. And will enjoy the future videos. Peace and love.